Okay, so hi everybody, welcome to our open evening. I'm Anne-Marie, I'm head of fashion at Portobello. So I want to talk you through a little bit about what we do in the fashion and sort of options available at the moment. So we'll look at the full-time year one, which is the QQI level 5, which is called retail practice, but also with a Portobello certificate in fashion buying and merchandising. And that's the 1 year, the first year. So it's a level 5. And then the second year is a QQI level 6, fashion management, with also a Portobello certificate in advanced buying and merchandising. And then we also have part-time evening course, which entails 3 modules. Each module is 30 weeks long. That's a QQI level 5. And so there's visual display, fashion design, and fashion buying and merchandising. So when you're looking at the year 1 full-time major award in QQI at level 5, it includes the modules in fashion industry and design studies. So you learn about design, you learn about, from a buying perspective, really the design class comes from. So you're learning about what it entails into designing and producing a garment. So fashion industry and design studies. Then you've got fashion buying and merchandising, which is all about buying product, sourcing product trend forecasting, looking at customer profiles, and developing ranges. So, the fashion buying and merchandising covers, if you wanted to work for a big retailer in a big company, or if you wanted to do some independent work, maybe start your own brand online or open up a boutique. We really cover everything in that buying. And the merchandising, that part of it is all about budgets and numbers. So if you love numbers and you're in the buying end, has creative and numbers. And then the merchandising is really about delivery schedules, stock inventory, rate of sale. So how many times something is selling in a store. So really supplier relationships. So covering all the information to do with fashion buying and merchandising. And you get to do mood boards and all sorts of really interesting and fun stuff. Then we have, of course, customer service. So we come from a point of view where the customer is key to the business. So we talk about all of that. We've also got retail visual display. Within that, you're looking at window displays, floor displays, looking at how you maximize sales on the shop floor, how you learn to work with color, and obviously these days working with sustainable fabrics and sustainable products and tools that help promote a future of sustainability. So we bring all that into play throughout the course as well. The work experience module is learning all about setting goals, writing a winning CV, being able to interview properly for success, tying in with internships, be them 1 day, 2 days, or for longer. All sorts of experience getting to work with Brown Thomas on their Christmas windows. With COVID lifting and everything, hopefully getting back to normal, you'll be able to take full advantage of all of that, which is fantastic. Obviously, communications is super important. So learning about how to communicate with people within the business, how to do presentation skills, really, really important, constantly happening in the business, to be able to present your ranges and things like that. In retail selling, you're learning about the theory of retail selling and, from a big picture point of view, guys. So not just about serving the customer on the shop floor, it's more about looking at the 5 Ps of retail and looking at developing Excel forecasting spreadsheets on looking at future sales and, future activities, using budgets, all that sort of stuff. So more business orientated than on the shop floor retail selling on that one. You've got the retail fashion styling in there. So that's, you get to do a photo shoot on that, or a couple of photo shoots, which is really exciting. You get to do help in with international fashion shows, that for International Women's Day, for instance, in Dublin, with Sinead, who's the tutor in that. So always great opportunities. You know, fashion can be very spontaneous. So you're looking at not just the everyday classroom activities. We do a lot of stuff, you know, that gets us out and about. You've also got spreadsheets in there for the 2 semesters, because the spreadsheets is all about Excel, learning Excel, developing your experience with Excel, being able to use pivot tables. It's used in the business, throughout the business, in business in general, but specifically in fashion. And you get to develop all your skills in that. Okay, so when you complete year 1 successfully, you will be set up to apply for an entry-level position in a top retailer buying or merchandising department. So you could be at the trainee merch level, or buying level, entry level. So at entry level, you would be going in, you know, getting samples sorted from suppliers, tracking product delivery, all that sort of stuff. And then you'll be learning as you go on the job, okay? And then with a trainee visual merchandiser or retail ops, you could work, you know, on the visual team within a store, or you could work on the retail ops team, or you could maybe go into, if you wanted to go the retail end of the business, you might look at assistant trainee store manager, just depending on what direction you might want to take your career. Then moving on to the second year, progressing into the second year, you would look at advanced fashion buying and merchandising. So taking everything to the next level, guys, learning more and more about the business. Again, advanced design, and then advanced visual. So everything moves up a level into level 6. A level 6 is quite a jump from level 5, the development of your skill level, and also, you know, independent study levels and things like that. Everything moves up a gear, which is great. It's a great progression step, and then leading on for you. Included in the level 6 are the business management module, the business planning. So that's all about developing a business, looking at strategic planning, looking at supplier management. Sustainability is coming into play in there, because that's where a lot of the business is moving towards, with the circular economy. And so learning all those things about how business are planned, what a SWOT analysis looks like, a pest analysis, really interesting stuff. And then you've got in there, you've got your leadership skills, which you really need, team leadership skills, just developing a little bit more on that skill level for you. You've got employment law, business and employment law. So very important in there is contract law, because as a buyer, you deal with contracts all the time with suppliers. So to have an understanding of what Irish business law looks like, but also what global business law looks like. And then following on from that, you've got finance, because this business is all about the numbers, okay? And reaching and achieving targets, budget spends, developing forecasts for sales, looking at cost of products. So what it takes for a buyer to spend to make a margin, to make the customer interested in the product, but to come out with a profit margin and that drives all retail business, is the profit margin. And then of course you're looking at marketing and what that looks like, in terms of a lot of focus in that is on digital marketing. And digital marketing is about developing e-commerce online. You know, a lot of marketing these days is done through social media. And so learning all the intricate details on how to develop your presence, or the business presence, on social media. Again, you've got the work experience module in there to refresh and recap on your goals, to highlight and increase your interview skills, and also to look within that, you've got the internship availability with top retailers that we work with. So when you've completed fashion level 6, you would have completed 2 years. We'll set you up for a role as a trainee buyer merchandiser, which is the next level from buyer's assistant with any major retailer. So the next level up, you're going right in. You could go right in as a trainee buyer or merchandiser. It is a route to a degree in fashion buying and merchandising. We are bringing on board, hopefully this year, it looks like it will be, degrees, undergrads in fashion buying and merchandising, and undergrad in fashion management, and then a postgrad cert in both as well. So if you were to complete the 2 years and complete the level 6, of course, the level 6 then sets you up into the second year of the degree program, which is a 3-year degree program. Included in that level 6 is the opportunity to do a 6-week internship with Primark within the buying merchandising teams. And then also with the degree, you would be looking at a 1-year placement, paid placement with Primark, which you would interview for, okay? But you'd have, the access and the availability to be able to apply for that if you were completing the undergrad. All right, so guys, lots of exciting opportunities with the pathway through the courses. And then, of course, if you're working in the business and you want to study part-time, if that suits your, what your plans are, and that you can then keep on, obviously continue working. Also, I may mention with the full-time courses, the classes are, divided up into 3 days a week. So you can actually work then as well. A lot of students work and study. I mean, it's a lot to take on and it's a lot to do, but it is doable. With the part-time course, you're looking at 10 weeks at the level 5 in fashion buying and merchandising. You're looking at 10 weeks then with the industry, fashion industry and design studies. And then you're looking at 10 weeks with the level 5 visual retail display. So the 3 really, really important modules there. And I find what you decide, if you go on to the part-time course, sometimes you change your mind. I mean, sometimes you come in with the idea, yes, I definitely want to go down the buying route, merchandising route, but then you suddenly decide, no, I prefer to switch to design, or I prefer to go into visual merchandising. So that's the cool thing about if you were doing the part-time course, that you can sort of look at which direction you might want to go in. However, if you're doing buying and merchandising, the design skills and the retail visual display all support the learning. So because there's no standalone department in retail, everything is intertwined with each other. And so I also find then that a lot of students start in the part-time and then decide they want to complete the full-time. Okay, so that leads into that as well. So it's 10 weeks back to back on those evening courses. You earn a QQI level 5 minor award certificate in the 3 different modules. And then you also earn an overall Portobello certificate in buying and merchandising. So looking at what we offer at Portobello, we have everybody is qualified to teach, and also even cooler than that is everyone is industry experts. So one of the visual tutors is a visual merchandising manager with Brown Thomas, and the other tutor has her own display company. You're looking at marketing and style experts, you're looking at spreadsheets experts, you're looking at buying and merchandising. Everybody's worked in the business with the absolute top retailers across the globe. I teach in the buying modules, and I, worked with Saks Fifth Avenue as a buyer. I was also head of retail ops for the Body Shop for 10 years. And I've also worked with many, many companies, as a consultant. So lots of experience, practical experience. And that's why our students are so successful with big companies, because we teach you not only what you need to know from a theory point of view, but also the practical end of things, which is super, super important. I mean, 7 students out of the class that graduated in May are already working in Primark as assistant trainee buyers and assistant trainee merchandisers. And then a couple of people have gone to Amsterdam working with Tommy Hilfiger and Calvin Klein, New Balance. A couple of students have gone on to work on the visual merchandising teams with River Island. So the opportunities are there overseas and within Ireland, just depends what you'd like to do. I've one student at the moment who did the part-time course and joined us online, because obviously they are living in London, so they had to do a remote learning experience, which we teach online while you're in the classroom as well. You can join it on our e-platform. So what's fantastic about that is that student just finished and then is already within 2 weeks of applying for jobs, has already got 6 interviews with top companies in London this week and next week. So London is buzzy and lots of opportunities. Dublin has opportunities, of course, limited in the size of big companies in Dublin, Primark being one of the biggest employers in retail. But of course, there's global opportunities. The business isn't going anywhere. It's a multi-billion-dollar business, and it may change the way it functions slightly, but then what's great about our classes are that we keep up with all up-to-date activity. Okay, so as the business and new changes come into the business, all the students are updated on any of those new learning skills. We hope that the classes are fun and exciting. I think they are, because they offer field trips included, in that, our course trips to London. That's happening soon in February for the first years, and the second years are going too, because they missed out last year due to COVID. And then Milan is in March. So then there's also field trips within Ireland, out and about, even, during class time, out to look at stores physically and have fun, eventful trips out and about, looking at trends, analyzing what a shop floor looks like, how it's merchandised, activities all related to your development. We also get involved, we have also trend forecasting events. One of the biggest events is linked in with DIT, but it's Holbrooks of London. It's been online for the last couple of years. It's online again in February coming up. But you have access to that, where you get a trend forecast book for the following year, so looking at autumn, winter 2022 and what's coming up. We've also got guest speakers that we get in, obviously people in the business, people that you've heard from before, you might have heard of, people that are working in the business, come in and have a chat, or online and have a chat, whichever works. I did a series during the summer, actually, and it's on Instagram. You can go, if you go on Fashion Portobello on Instagram, you'll be able to see those interviews with past students who are really excelling in their roles in buying or running their own businesses. So there's fun interviews, actually. So you can, if you follow Fashion Portobello, you can tune into those. They're on the page, which is fantastic. Also really, really important is the CV writing and interview skills. You really have to be on your game with writing a successful CV for fashion. And you also have to be really clued into being able to ace an interview, because that's all about getting through the interview and how you present. So we help you. Also, any links to roles, any new jobs that come up. A lot of our past student alumni always pay it. We always like to pay it forward. So we've helped them a lot to get jobs. They, in turn, if jobs come up within their industry or in their companies, they feed it back to me. I feed it out to you guys. We've retailers we work with who love hiring our students. So they always send us a link first if any roles come up. So that's all fab. Very exciting. Okay. All righty. So I suppose really that is a synopsis of what we do in Portobello. And, you know, it's really exciting to look at the degrees coming on board as well. And obviously that's going to take, you know, if you progress through your learning and you want to do that and you're excited about that, that's going to be an opportunity coming in October 2022. But, you know, if you're brand new into fashion, you know, the QQI is a great place to start. Yeah, it's great. So I suppose we'll open it up to questions at this stage, because I'm very, very happy to answer any questions at all. If you want to type into the chat box, if you'd like to type a question in.
Marie, we had a question there from Andrea,
Yeah.
just to ask about events. So now I know the part-time students have access to the events as well, but is there any kind of
absolutely.
any
So
kind of
actually,
difference?
London at the moment, Pure in London is the big trade show we go to every year in February. It's slightly changed this year because of COVID, obviously still affecting things slightly. The big show at the Olympia is not on the 14th, but they have a smaller show which is really about showcasing new designers and sustainability, and that's in the old Truman building, the brewery in East London. It won't be as big as Pure, but we're still going to go. I meet the students there. Everyone travels, usually the students. So the part-timers, there's about 5 or 6 joining us this year on that one. It's a great opportunity. So yeah, and the trend forecasting events, all students, part-time or full-time, get access to the bigger stuff, the bigger events. Yeah. Obviously, when there's guest speakers in the classroom and all that, we try and get some in the evening as well. It just depends on what's going on, but you definitely are. And then any job opportunities. I mean, there was one came over my desk a few weeks ago with an agency that works with brands looking, and Stephen was looking for to hire a student. Roisin, who was in that position, moved on to Primark from that company to be a buyer of Primark. And he, of course, asked us, a part-time student applied for that with a few of the other students and got the job. So the part-time student in that incident was chosen for the position. So there's as much opportunity going on for the part-time students as much as we can with the full-time as well. I've seen there's a course with only one module. Can we do one and add on 2 other modules, or do you have to start with the longer course straight away? Is that in the part-time, Andrea? Is that in the part-time modules you're talking about there?
There was another question that was from up above, just asking if you need a leaving cert to go into this program. Not necessarily, because it's a level 5 award. We mainly look for within the colleges just that the student would be over 18. There's a difference between because there's not as much attendance within the course. There's a difference between whether that's a leeway or not. And because the course is at home, we just ask that there's a supervised adult with the student if they're under 18, say for instance if they're 17. But because the course, the fashion and merchandising course, is a QQA level 5 award, a leaving cert isn't really necessary, because it's
I mean,
standard
you
award.
have to have a commitment, I think, to the course. Is the most important thing, is your love, that you really want to do it. It's something you're really passionate about, and that you're going to attend classes. Because, you know, the problem is if you sign up and don't attend classes, because our classes are so interactive with students. You do miss things if you don't attend, whether it's attending online or it's attending in person. You do miss it. So I suppose the commitment to that, because we're all about helping you to be successful. So that's our mission and that's our goal. And whatever we can do to facilitate that progress for you, that's what we're all about. We're very inclusive. We're very supportive. You get one-to-one feedback all the time. You're linked in directly with myself at any time to ask any questions, or we offer help as you need it. And throughout the college, we have help, you know what I mean? So if you need extra support, we have all that available to you, whether you're a part-time study or a full-time study.
There's a question there from, do we need an English test?
Just one before that, the modules. There's the three, the idea of doing one module, it just depends on your experience and it depends what you want to do. You can choose to do the one and then continue on with the other two if you're studying part-time. It's really about, you can jump on to every 10 weeks, it just really, Andrea, depends on what your needs are, what your experience is, and where you want to go with everything. But you do have that option, of course. Do I need any English test as a foreign student?
Not necessarily. Usually the interview, we have an interview, ask you about your passion towards fashion, what you want to do with the course. We judge it by them. But like, if there's any kind of difficulties with the English, does that you or no?
Yeah. Like I don't speak, I only speak a little bit of French, a little bit of Spanish. Other than that, Google Translate. But we do go over things in class quite a bit. It's quite inclusive. So we wouldn't want anyone to come in and not know what was happening in the class. So I always suggest to people, if you're a foreign student and you're doing you're learning in English, then do an English. If you're based in Dublin, there's lots of TEFL courses that you can attend that teach you English language. If you're tuning in from overseas online, then obviously you can get the online help with the Google Translate if you needed that. Does that answer that question, Andrea? You can answer that, George.
Yeah, no problem. So we are a private institute, and the SUSI, it's not that we would accept it if they were giving it to us, but because we're a private institute, the government won't allow any sort of grants or funding that comes towards it. Now, saying that, I know there are kind of case by case basis depending on your means. So the best place to do is kind of go to SUSI and ask if you need any kind of supporting documents for the course or anything like that. We can provide them, but usually SUSI won't associate with private colleges, fortunately.
Okay, pity. But we do have good payment programs, don't we, George, available? So we work with quite easy to deal with, I think.
Yeah.
And
we will usually deal with payment plans. We have payment plans that's on the website that are just kind of templates to go from there. But if there's anything else that you need from us, look, we want to make education accessible to everybody. So that's a motto within the college. So if it's something that's not suitable for you, let us know. We'll do an arrangement plan that fits you best.
Yeah, we're all about making it accessible for you. Just on Andrea, just to add into, languages are super appealing too if you have different languages for the job in buying and merchandising. So the big companies, because you're dealing with overseas suppliers a lot. So if you do have a couple of languages, or other than English, that's going to be a great plus on your CV as well. We've many students through our fashion department from all over the world that study with us. So yeah, it's not a barrier for you with us in Portobello at all. We love it. We love the diversity of having lots of different people from everywhere join our classes. Good questions here, guys. Anything else you'd like to ask? So we are gearing, COVID seems to, I better not say it seems to be dissipating, but anyway, we are we have been online, of course, over the couple of years, but we've come back. The fashion came back in earlier this year, had to go back online again during the latest Omicron, but now we're back in, you know what I mean? The students are back in. They're in tonight actually for the evening class. They're also in today, and we're gearing up to be fully back in with our fashion department anyway, because it is really practical, guys, and it is really about involving you in the practical process when you're in. But also, if you can't make it in and you want to learn online and you're not in the vicinity, that's okay too. We can support that. And as I've shared with you earlier, Rebecca's story was a big success story, tuning in from London. Yeah. So whatever it takes to support you and help your development into fulfilling your dream of working in fashion, it's a great dream. It's a great job. Now, it is super challenging, guys. The course is challenging. You are challenged. We stuff a lot of content in, so you get exposed to everything. And also because the job is like that. The job, fast fashion especially, is fast paced. It's, what it's called, it moves very quickly. With on the shop floor, it's moving very quickly behind the scenes.
Just to ask for they're asking the question. I get this question a lot from students to ask, when should I sign up by, or when is the closing date? We really, like, within the college, we really don't kind of have an official closing date. We have to register the student to get them sent over with QQI and get everything sorted for the back end of the college. But I say for the full-time course, if you're considering it's something that you want to do, sign up as soon as you can, really, to be honest, because you're securing your place, you're getting yourself in with the college, and then you're not left waiting to say, oh, how many places are left? Because we don't take on, we're not a huge college, we don't take on lots and lots of students. Once a course is full, we cut it off then completely. We can't take on any more students. So my advice to you, if you are thinking of taking the course, sign up when you can.
Yeah. It's and so we've a great support system within the college for everybody, but also on our Portobello channel, where all your notes are housed, your access to your notes. You get a Portobello email. You're supported on Teams. You're supported with your assignments, uploading online. Like, there's lots. The exam process, we have a company that hosts the exams to make it really streamlined. So we're gone very high tech in Portobello, which is great. Can you say more about the interview? You mentioned the course. Did I understand correctly? Yeah, George, if you want to take that
So
one.
the interview is just a chat with yourself, and we want to know if you're a committed student. We like to take on students that are going to complete the course and that are passionate about fashion within the fashion industry. So what we do basically is look at you as a separate student to say what exactly you need, whether you need any learning difficulties, what you want to do with the course when you're finished. So we have the great support structure for you for when you're finished off and go off into the industry itself. So the interview is basically, it's not to say whether you're good enough for the program, it's to get to know you and get to know whether we can provide what you're looking for within the college, and making sure that when you leave us, you have a good support system for when you go on to further jobs and further progress in your career. That's a good approach. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I would say that, it's important to, when you commit, that you commit to the course. The people that commit their time and their energy to learning as much as possible are the people that become super successful within the fashion industry. Because it is a commitment and it can be challenging. If you're studying part-time and working as well, or you're studying full-time and work, we've students that do their 3 days and then go off and work the 4 days they study and come into college 3 days, and then they work in the retail sector the other 4 days. So those students, it can be challenging, tiring, but rewarding.
So the interview would be first. Once you set an interest, and we can arrange the interview. It's basically we can do it over Zoom, we can do it over the phone, and it's just really just to get the chat with yourself. More than likely, Anne-Marie will tell you as well. I chat with a student. For instance, we had a really passionate student about fashion the other day, and he wanted to get everything into account for when he was finished. So I had Anne-Marie speak to him afterwards just to make sure that she reassures him on what he wants to do and get a real picture for his progression within his career. So we do the interview first before you would sign up.
If there's any more questions at all, this is a good time to ask them, guys.
If you think of questions afterwards as well, I'm just going to leave my email and my direct line, so you can send them on.
That's the Instagram handle. Is handle the right word? That's the Instagram handle. Anyway, that's my word. Yeah, so lots of good stuff on that. Especially the interviews I did during the summer. They were great. A lot of fun, and just hearing from students who, you're looking at students who had studied with us maybe 3 to 5 years ago, who are now like senior players in their roles, because the progression in fashion, guys, is very quick. If you're successful, you can progress very quickly within an organization, starting at a junior buyer or trainee buyer's assistant into a buyer within a few years, and the salaries are extremely good, within the organization. Top merchandisers who handle numbers and budgets and stock and all that for major companies with 4 years, 5 years experience, are earning 108,000 a year. Okay, so yeah, it's a quick, run up the ladder if that's what you want to do. But also, if you want to run your own business, and you decide that you have an entrepreneurial spirit, maybe you work for a company for a couple of years as well, but then you can set up a brand online. What you have from us, if you do your own thing and do your own business, you have that's if you study the full-time classes, you have the business end of it. So it's the skills to be successful as an entrepreneur, because you can come up with a fantastic brand and a new idea and develop it and put it online and sell it, and customers love it and they're buying, and which is amazing. But if you don't have the backup skills of the business end of things, you can fail very, very easily. So I think we're not only teaching you how to go and work for big companies, we're also teaching you how to run a business, which I think is great. Okay, great. Leaving cert, yeah. I mean, if she's leaving cert, and the fashion is something she's really would like to do, the degree is going to be of a great option going forward. The 3-year undergrad degree. Yeah, that's going to be there's going to be some fantastic modules in there, and a lot of opportunities. The placement with Primark is key. The work placement for 1 year, they hire. What the process is there, we're finalizing, I think it's in the year 3. You would then, before you graduate, you'd spend a year with Primark in a paid position. And then once you graduate, they will offer you a job if they like you and stuff. Again, that is something that you interview for, but they do love our students. So, and actually, the fashion buying and merchandising undergrad BA in fashion buying and merchandising will be the first and only one in Ireland. Everything, there's fashion management and there's postgrad level, master's level, but there isn't actually a BA in fashion buying and merchandising in Ireland at the moment. anyone who's done our level 6 and then went on to do a degree in it went to Manchester or London, which you can do with the level 6 as well, or you can start at the level 5, level 6, and then work into the degrees, because you would jump on the second year of the degree. So for Leaving Cert students, ideal.
Thanks very much for your attendance tonight.
Yeah, it's great.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks a million. Yeah, it's great. You know, it's online. It's interesting experience always, isn't it? With me, it always is at the beginning to get the slides up, but we made it and it was great. And some fantastic questions there, which it makes our jobs easier.
Perfect.
All right.
All right, guys.
Okay, so hopefully you connect in with George. You want to sign up for classes, and hopefully I will see you sometime later this year or whenever that you decide to come on board.
Perfect stuff, guys. Thanks a million, Anne-Marie. Take care,
Thanks,
guys.
George. Great to see
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.
Bye-bye.